Welcome to another episode of Short Person Top Person Beta. In this episode we'll go over two styles of beta on every color you are, a V6 located in Bishop, California. On the left we have Will, a 5'5 climber with a +1 ape index. On the left we have Steven, a 5'3 climber with a -1 ape index. Steven employs the use of a lot of bump crimps while Will uses more body tension and high feet where he can. The most notable crux of this climb is the match cross into the crack and then going into the rightmost crack. The top out is essentially the same for both of them. Steven gets a high foot and undercling pulls with his left hand, allowing him to step up with body tension so that his left hand is keeping him on the wall, but his feet are pushing him up and out. He moves his feet to a vertical bicycle, which pinches his feet onto the wall. The majority of his body weight shifts onto his right hand, and then he matches with his left. He crimps hard with his left hand so that he can move his right hand into the crack with a finger jam ring lock. He cuts feet to reposition his foot placement and drops his body low while straightening his arms so that all of his weight is directly below his hands. He shifts his body weight in position by turning in his left knee so he can move the weight off his left hand to reposition. Since the left hand is solid, he moves his right hand to a crimp so he can move his feet higher into the lower part of the crack so he can have more height and power to bump. He then repositions his left hand to account for his new body position and pushes his body up with his right foot. You can see that his right foot basically doesn't move position, only angles since he moved it up. As he makes his way higher, his right foot becomes too low to support his body, so he heel hooks with his left, which also frees up his right hand. He'll rely on his hands and finger strength to pull his left foot up to a somewhat of a perch position where he really has to trust his foot placement. From there, he moves his hands up and finds the confidence to walk up the face of the rock and top out. Will opts for positioning his body to the left instead of the right. He still has a high right foot and uses a very dynamic move to reach the crimp over the roof. Similar to Steven, he also uses a foot pinch to keep his body close to the overhanging wall. The majority of his body weight is on his higher right hand, which frees his left hand to match the right. He too cuts feet to reposition his feet. Notice that as he cuts feet, his arms are bent to absorb and regulate the bounce from cutting feet. He gets a high heel hook, which helps him to shift his hips towards the right and is another point of weight-bearing contact, making the right hand move easier to do. The heel hook itself takes core and flexibility to be able to do smoothly, and as he heel hooks, his right foot is stabilizing and helping to shift his body position. He then shuffles his left hands and feet over to better areas before making the left hand cross move. Once he does that, he again shifts his hips towards the right, putting even more weight on his hands, and also changes the heel hook from passive to active, making it only significantly more weight-bearing, but also to directionally stabilize himself to the right. As his body moves more to the right, the left heel hooks become less useful and less weight is being put on it. He then places his right foot into the lower part of the crack and pushes off that foot to make his right hand bump into the bomber crack. Like Steven, he doesn't move his right foot's position as he bumps his right hand. He uses his amazing flexibility to get a high left foot and pivots up and over that foot to stabilize himself to walk up the face and top out.
Come on. Come on.